Good morning to everyone here in the congregation and to all who are joining online today. We begin our service with a musical prelude by John Mayhood. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Mary Beth Wiley, and I'm happy to be weaving worship this morning with Reverend Susan Carlson and John Mayhood. This is a New Year's Eve service, or New Year's service, welcoming folks of all ages. We will be holding a New Year's ritual later on in the service. People at home, please have paper and pen or a device you can write on for that special time in service. In the past, the Monacan people and later enslaved people from Africa and their descendants lived and cared for this land. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I invite us to take a moment to greet others. Please unmute and say hello if you're online. If you're here, turn and greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy New Year's Eve.
Good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year's to all of you.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Good morning from the Eastern Shore.
Good morning.
There are 18 of us
18.
on Zoom.
So, who is on the Eastern Shore?
Jenny and Debbie, we're Kristen Morgan's moms.
Great.
We love your program that you have. Yeah, we don't have a Unitarian church nearby.
Oh, that's too bad.
Where are you located?
We're north of Cape Charles in Machapunga.
Well, you're
Over here.
a long ways
We
away.
offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for the fellowship after the service in the social hall. Please feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which are for visitors, and we encourage you to stop by the connections table near the monitor in the social hall. There is currently a live stream of the service in the social hall. If you need to go in there for a roomier space, it can be a good option. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship both here and online, our greeters, ushers, and hospitality and logistics team. And special thanks to our AV tech, Rachel Buckland, supporting the dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. Do we have a board member here to speak today? Oh, okay. Come on up, Chris. Chris Little is going to speak to us today.
This is somewhat impromptu, so I will just say on behalf of the board, I wish you all a very happy new year. I think we have a lot in store for us this year at UU Seaville in terms of strategic clarity and love in action throughout our community and within this community. So thank you for being a part of this community and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Chris. And here are our announcements. Today, we will hold our annual New Year's Eve Labyrinth Walk after the service. Join in this ritual of contemplation, of releasing the old and welcoming the new. If you are new to this, there will be friendly people to offer you guidance and reassurance that we can all walk the same path in different ways. And that's going to be held out through the social hall outside. People can, hopefully we'll be streaming in that direction. The social action collection is for meal packets for the hospital. We will fill gallon bags for families of inpatients and for outpatients who can't afford to eat otherwise. Since the beginning of the program, we've donated over 7,000 of these, so please help with that. The UU Seaville Ministry for Earth is hosting our first sustainable eating potluck on Sunday, January 21st after the service. Sustainable eating is delicious food that is good for the earth and good for you and your family. You're invited to bring a dish that is meatless and plant-based, and please include the recipe as well. And everyone is invited to taste the delicious food, whether or not you were able to bring a dish. Dream Quest will be held February 23rd and 24th in person here. For more information, please see the website. All are welcome to join us for refreshments and conversation in the social hall following the service. We won't be sharing joys and sorrows this morning, as we are holding a water ritual for the new year where people will come forward. Any joys and sorrows that have been shared will be added to the joys and sorrows to read next week.
Well, let me add my Happy New Year's welcome to you all. So good to see you, and welcome to those people online as well. Happy New Year's, my friend. May this day bring us blessing and inspiration to start our new year off together in community, in this place, and at this time. Our call to worship this morning is a poem by Mary Ann Rodmacher. Live with intention and walk to the edge. Listen hard.
Practice wellness. Play with abandon. Laugh.
Choose with no regret. Continue to learn. Appreciate your friends.
Do what you love. Live as if this is all there is.
Come,
let
us worship together.
As Anne Salamini comes forward to light the chalice this morning, please join me in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, and celebration of the life we share together. Now the hand motions. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts. And now the first hymn is Deck the Halls.
This New Year's Eve, we are looking at spiritual practices for the new year, which will arrive, we all know, in a little more than 12 hours from now. Our story this morning is called The Spider and the Very Important Person, and it was originally written, and I've adapted it a bit, by Diana Davies. If you think of a spider's web, it's a bit like a labyrinth, like the one that we can walk later on after this service, or the finger labyrinths that I hope you got or you will get, that we can use later during this service. You'll find versions of this story in Christian, Jewish, and Muslim traditions, and in ancient Japanese folk tales as well. In the Christian version, the baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are hiding from King Herod. In the Jewish version, a young David is hiding from King Saul. In the Muslim version, the Prophet Muhammad and his friend Abu Bakr are hiding from a crowd of people who want to harm them outside the city of Mecca. And in the Japanese version, the great shogun warrior Yoritomo is hiding from his enemies. In all these stories, though, the spider is just a spider. And so the story begins. Once upon a time, a very important person was watching a spider weaving her web, and the very important person thought to themselves, why in the world did God make spiders? What good are they? They aren't beautiful or cute. You can't pet them so much. They can't do tricks. They don't guard the house or make anything we humans can eat or wear. They don't sing or make interesting sounds, music. And those webs, aren't they always just a nuisance to us? And the little spider overheard her, but she didn't care. She just kept weaving her web and weaving her web and weaving her web. Soon, though, the very important person was in trouble. Her enemies were out to get her. She had to run and hide. So she hid in the deepest, darkest caves she could find. But still, she was worried that her enemies would find her. But just then, she noticed that the little spider had started building a new web at the entrance to the cave. She was afraid to shoo her away for fear that her enemies might hear. So she just stayed very quiet and watched the spider work. In no time, the cave entrance was completely covered by the web. And it was just in time, too, because right then, the very important person's enemies came running up to the cave, but they didn't go in because the leader of the enemies exclaimed, no need to go into that cave. Look at that big spider web. It's clear no one's been in there in a very long time. And the very important person realized something important that day. Wow, spiders are the best. So what if they're not beautiful or cute and they can't do tricks or sing? They can't guard the house or make things that humans can eat or wear. The spider deserves our kindness and respect, just like all animals, like all creation. And the spider just shrugged her many little shoulders and said, yeah, just doing what spiders do. But thanks for noticing. Now, have you ever looked at a spider's web? I bet you have. Can you raise your hands? Have you looked at a spider's web? Seen how beautiful they are? Each individual thread is so thin, like that one. And yet it's so strong. It's really hard to get it apart. It's delicate, but you can barely see the web lines. And that great, strong web is made by just one little spider, just doing what spiders do best. What the very important person in our story came to understand is that every being is worthy of respect and kindness. Every being has a precious life to live. And even the littlest spider can save the life of a very important person. Even the littlest spider is very important too. Any one of us, anyone can make a difference in the lives of others if we just are ourselves. May it be so. John Mayhood will now play a musical meditation.
its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of December is for the UU Congregation of Charlottesville's meal packet program, which I talked about earlier for the hospital. Rachel, will you please show it? Oh, you've already got it up. In addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offerings in the collection plate. Please don't seal the envelopes as we reuse them. Along with our social action collection, each week we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of our congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts support and sustain our congregation. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or going to our website. Here in the sanctuary, you may place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. Let us dedicate all the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good."
We started our service with the story of an ordinary little spider that helps someone escape from harm with its elaborate webs. The spider's web is a little bit like a labyrinth in some ways. There are pathways within the web and within a labyrinth that one can follow and focus on the steps in front of you to just be where you are now, one foot in front of the other. Usually you enter the labyrinth with an intention, some kind of question you have about something you're facing in your life, or you just want to be in that peaceful place that leads to the center and then leads out again by the same path. Rachel, can you put it there? She's always just so far ahead of us, isn't she? She's just so this little labyrinth, this little heart labyrinth is one of the simpler ones. It just has 3 circuits on it. And you can walk this kind of labyrinth like any others by gazing at it or by imagining a heart with a pathway to the center. Your heart, maybe, someone else that you hold in your heart, and then back out again. And in just a moment, we're going to begin a small labyrinth walk where you won't have to use feet, but you'll trace the steps of the labyrinth you've been given. Now, I hope all of you have been given a little labyrinth square, sort of like this. If you haven't, then you can raise your hand and one of the ushers, Gloria or John, might come around and give you one. If you're at home, then I invite you to feel free to use your finger to trace the steps on your screen, the device that you're using, or just follow the circuits of the labyrinth through your imagination, which all of us could always do. So before entering the labyrinth, we want to prepare ourselves a little bit. So one person needs a little labyrinth. Anybody else need one? Okay. I'm not seeing any hands, so hopefully everybody's got them. So let's just prepare ourselves in this little place here. Let's notice the feelings that we're having right now. Feel the pew or your chair underneath you. How does that feel? Or are there things that you see or that you hear that are particularly calling your attention right now? And just pause in this place to witness where you are right now. And now I invite you to place your finger or your pen or some device on the little paper. And we're going to go around the circle. If I had a pointer, I should have asked you, Rachel. If I had a little pointer, I would just show you how to go around like that, around the device. So that's what we're first going to be. And you can use any finger. You could use your index finger or any finger that you choose, or whatever little instrument you might have. So we're going to breathe in and out 3 times as we trace our way along the outside of the circle. And so we'll breathe in about 1/3 of the way around, and then we'll breathe out the rest of the way. So let's start. Breathe in and begin moving along the outside of the circle. Now breathe out. Exhale. And come back to the beginning. And once more, we're going to do this 2 more times. Breathe in. Breathe out. And a final time at your own pace, breathe in. And exhale completely. Now pause just at the entrance to the labyrinth, going to the inner sanctum of the heart, of your heart. And start tracing the little circuit in the labyrinth, going in towards the middle. And when you get to the inside, the innermost part, then just stop Stay there in place. Check in with yourself and notice what you're feeling now. And now, slowly begin to move out again to the entranceway, tracing the same path. The great thing about labyrinths is you go in the same way that you come out. And now pause. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times, just at your own pace. Begin again. And come back to the place where you started. Just feel the peace, the newness of this year before us, the wonder of this day that's given to each of us. Amen. Om Shanti. Blessed be. Shalom. Ashe. This afternoon after the service, as you all heard from Mary Beth, the Labyrinth Ministry team will have larger labyrinths for you to walk outside. Take your time with this practice. I first remember walking the labyrinth back here when I first came to this church 25 years ago or so. And since that time, wherever I was serving as a minister, on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I would walk the labyrinth. It seemed like the best way to start my year and to take stock of what was behind me and what was in front. So please take the Little Heart Labyrinth. You can find many more online. I have many more copies. The Labyrinth Ministry team has many. There are so many resources to learn more about labyrinths and their history and their practice. There's a second spiritual practice we're going to do this morning, and it is taken from a ritual by my colleague, Reverend Erica Hewitt, that I've adopted for us today. And that is called Releasing the Year Behind Us. Story, music, and meditation, like we have done so far, have led us to this New Year's ritual, sometimes called a burning bowl ceremony, where we burn little pieces of paper on which we've written down what we want to leave behind, what we are mostly finished with. We also often write what we envision in the year ahead, these intentions that we carry with us into the new year. The new year calls us forward, and it's filled with mystery. We have no idea what's before us, whether good or bad or both. As we turn toward this new year, we take a final glimpse of the past year and reckon with all that it held and what it may hold for us that we carry with us into 2024. And at the same time, we also consider what is happening in our world, some things that are positive and some things that are really painful and that need our partnering with others in order to make a difference, where we are living out love in action. Some things that make us sad or things that we really want to work to change, like the terrible, horrific wars in Gaza and Ukraine and so many other places around the world. And the illnesses that people face. Climate change affecting our planet and everything on this earth. The concerns we have about books being banned and the inequities between people who have different skin colors, sexual identities, different religions, different beliefs. It's worthwhile at the end of this year to look at these problems so that we can work together and be proactive with others from organizations and communities around us to create change, to find creative solutions together. And there's a nifty little website that I refer you to. It's called progressnetwork.org. And that has a list of 52 pieces of progress from the year 2023. I don't think I've said 2024, but I haven't said 2023. We're still in it right now. Sometimes when I've done this reflection at the end of the year, it's easier to think of things that have gone wrong. But there are all kinds of good things that happened this year and good things that we can carry over into 2024. Things that make us stronger together, taking all of us on this planet, this big, beautiful planet of ours, to make lasting and needed change. I want to lift up just a few of these to reflect on hope and continuing work for this new year. One thing, blessed be, is the medication that can treat those with sickle cell. That was found, developed. And then we've all heard COP28, where delegates from around the world finally made an agreement to end the use of fossil fuels. Now, that in itself won't solve the problems of climate change, we know, but it was a significant shift. They had never done that before, all of the previous climate conferences. And malaria is being rapidly addressed through 2 new vaccines in many countries that have suffered so much from this disease. And then there's COVID-19 and its newest variant, JN.1. Now that's still a serious concern affecting a lot of people. But it's not seen as a global emergency now, even though it is for the people that are facing it or having it. When you entered, the ushers may have given you a very thin sheet of paper like this. And a pen, hopefully, or you had one. These are dissolving papers. When you put them in warm water, the ink will dissolve kind of magically. It looks really cool. I've tried it out, but not tried it out in a large group. So we'll see. We might make some kind of new soup or something. So is there anybody that needs a dissolving sheet that didn't get one? Do you? Aha. Right here. There's several people. It's really important that you have this and a pen. A pencil, I don't think will work, or a crayon, so. Oh, you're sharing too. That's so great. Okay, so this kind of paper, as I said, it will dissolve in water, but I want to speak also to those of you at home. I ask you to please take paper and pen or some device and write your reflections there. Later, you might want to burn them or just tear them up, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I invite you all to think of the year passing very quickly behind you. Consider what you might want to leave behind today, washing it away so that it changes form and disappears. What parts of our lives, what things, what ideas, what people, what ways of living are holding you back from being the person you most want to be? What's getting in the way of you living as fully as you'd like to? What might you wash away or burn because you've gotten what you needed from those experiences or those ways of being? And so I invite you now, you'll have a minute or so to consider a word or two or draw a picture, if you wish, about what you want to let go of, knowing you'll still have the memory, of course. And nobody will see it except for you and the water or the fire. We'll have some time now for you to just contemplate your couple of words or your pictures. For the next few minutes, music will invite you forward, and you can put your paper into the bowls of water. And I'd ask that you go to the aisle, to this side aisle on each side, and come back from starting at the back and come forward and working your way forward here down to the center, where you can place your little piece of dissolving paper into the bowl. And we'll see what it makes. Someone offered to maybe see if they could make some kind of sculpture out of it. I think it'll dissolve too thinly, but we'll see what we create, right? It's an experiment. And just know that you can let go of this, whatever you're putting in there, and the water will take care of the rest of it. And people on Zoom, please feel free to tear up the paper if you wish, or burn it later safely, if you care to. Music will guide us through this spiritual practice of letting go. let me say that. Thank you, Mary Beth. So these were the bowls of our soup that we have made, what's left. And sometimes the ink stays on the top of the bowls. But eventually it's all worn away and changes into 2024 and the year that's just before us. If the past year held joy and growth for you, may that sweetness continue to bless you. If the past year held pain and bitterness, may you be relieved of those burdens and renewed for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace. Blessed be. And I invite you now to rise in body and spirit and join in the video song, Here Together Going Forth. The words will appear on the screen.
And these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. We have spent time together, and these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. And my prayer for you is a peace that's true until we meet again.
Mary Beth, will you please extinguish the chalice? May our time together be a blessing for you as you approach this new year, 2024. Get used to saying it and writing it everywhere. May you find comfort for the weariness in your bones and solace for the heartaches in your life. May you bring joy to those around you and welcome the new year celebrating the relationships, the friendships, the community souls that share the path with you. May you move in beauty through your life that takes you to new places in your body, your mind, your spirit, and may you have the tenacity of that little spider that just is what it is. Blessed be and amen, my friends. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Toast to you.